Hello friends and welcome to another Wednesday Quickie. If this is the first time you're visiting our channel, I want to extend to you a very warm welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. If it is your birthday, we want to wish you a very happy birthday. As always, on Wednesdays or midweek, sometimes it's Wednesday, sometimes it's Thursday that the video posts, we talk about tips, tricks, useful information, and first looks, right? So today we're going to talk about two tools that every homeowner and every DIYer must have in their arsenal. And those are an infrared thermometer and a multimeter. So we're going to tell you exactly why. Infrared thermometer is just a very simple device that these days can be purchased for fairly inexpensive, in the $10–15 range. You can find them. You can also pay $100 or $200 for one. It's up to you, right?
Right.
But they can be purchased inexpensively. And as you can see, it simply has a screen that reads the temperature, and it reads the temperature of whatever you point at. So I don't know if you want to look there. As you can see, you have a point. Yeah. So that reads the temperature there. So now it reads the temperature of my finger. Boy, I'm hot. Okay. Now you might say, why is this a useful tool? Well, first of all, it allows you to do a lot of troubleshooting, right? Sometimes your air conditioning or your heater starts going out and you're not sure, is it going out or not? You can point that to one of your registers and it's going to tell you exactly what temperature it generates. It is a very great diagnostic tool that will save you a lot of headache, and you won't have to wonder, is it happening or not? Is it not enough? You know, that kind of question, right? It's very inexpensive, very easy to use, no problem. You can use it on your car for the same purpose, right? You feel the air conditioning is not performing well. Target your, what do you call them? The things with the louvers inside that spit out air.
The vents? The
vents. And turn it on and it will tell you. Also, you can go around the house and see if you have any heat loss anywhere, right? Like if you see, I don't know if you can see it, but you see it's 62 degrees there if you want to come. Okay. Now it doesn't really make much sense here because we don't have insulation. And
also our doors are wide open.
And you can see down there it's actually 58.6, which we expect because the heat rises, right? So we expect and the floor is 55.
56.
Then if we go up, I don't know.
No, come on.
Yeah, it's 61. So in here it doesn't help us because it's an insulated place, right? But in your house, you can see gaps of insulation, right? If your wall is very nice and warm except one spot,
right?
You know you have insulation problems.
And if you're looking like for around your windows, that sort of thing, you can see what the difference is, especially in the heat of summer or the cold of winter.
Oh, absolutely. Most of them, this is a fairly inexpensive one. Most of them will give you both Celsius and Fahrenheit reads, like this one does, right? By switching, pressing the button, give you radius and Fahrenheit. Most of them will have a hold point so you can see the temperature that you selected. Now, some people will say, oh, for $15 you won't get any accurate things. Yes, this is not to do chemistry. This is not, the $15 ones are not the most accurate things, but you don't need to spend $300 because for what you do, this is plenty, right? In other words, if you are 2 degrees off, big deal. Now, in chemistry, 2 degrees off can be a catastrophe, right? But in home ownership, 2 degrees will not make a big difference. You will never have to know the exact temperature, right? So the error that these inexpensive ones have, it's really not a big deal for what we're using it. And this specific one goes from -59 Fahrenheit to +752 Fahrenheit, which I doubt because the plastic will melt actually at 752 Fahrenheit, but that's what they say. So clearly this is a theoretical thing.
Well, you could point it at something that's hotter and you wouldn't necessarily be
and we have done that
source.
Because I like to test how hot our fires are when we turn fire, right?
Yeah. And when we turn it on, yes.
Huh?
When we turn on the fire, yes.
Yeah, when we turn the fire. And we we have read routinely 650-degree temperatures with this.
Okay.
So it does do that, right? That's a good point. Anyway, so this is the first tool. If you don't have one, this is a tool you should have in your arsenal. The other must-have tool is a multimeter. And again, multimeters can go from $10 to $400 easily. As a homeowner, you really do not need the state-of-the-art, top-of-the-line multimeter. You need a basic one. And even the most basic ones will have voltage. And you can see here we have two voltages again, 600 and 200 volts, 600 and 200 volts. And you see this little signal here, the one solid line and one dotted line?
Let's see.
I'm sure it is visible.
Yes, there we go.
Okay, this is direct current, DC.
Okay.
And as you see the same numbers, but here you see next to it there is a squiggly line.
Mm-hmm.
And this is alternate current.
Okay.
This is the only, especially in the inexpensive ones like this one, this is the only critical thing. You know, you need to know what you put. So don't put this one into your wall socket. Mm-hmm. You will burn the machine, right?
Right.
The rest of them is very multi-volts. Again, all of the volts are relating. And you see here for batteries 9 volt, 1.5 volts, etc. Also here you see ohms, and ohms are resistance, or measures of resistance, right? So if you want to see if something has resistance or it's open or closed circuit, you use ohms, and most of them also have an audible meter that doesn't necessarily tell you how many ohms you are, but it will make a tone, and you will know if you have an open or a closed circuit. Mm-hmm. And as you can see here, we have 2 reds and 1 black, and that corresponds to this to the LEDs, right? The red always by convention in electricity is a live, and the black is usually a common. And now you see here it says COM here, that stands for common, right?
Okay.
On most multimeters, you're going to have volts and ohm on one side and amps on the other. You see how this says V and O,
Yep.
omega?
Yep.
It's always the red, so they won't give you 3 leads, they only will give you 2. You just plug them in there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The only thing that I think you need to know so you will not be dangerous is when you're putting it on your wall socket, if you want to see if an outlet works, there is only one detail that you need to be aware of. The wall socket, I don't know if you can see it. The wall socket, as you all know, have a long and a shorter and a semicircular opening, right? Mm-hmm. Now it is important to know what is what. We changed the outlets because the other one I had installed upside down and I didn't really realize it until now. So I don't want to confuse people.
And it's a little harder to get to for our purposes right now.
So the reason why I want to show you this is because this is very important. The short opening is the hot part of the circuit. The long one is the return or the common, and the semicircle is the ground. Why is that important? When you're testing, let me get the tester here for a moment. When you're testing, it's very important that you put the black to the short first. Okay? And you test this way. You not do it this way because in alternate current, the moment that you have contact there, this is hot. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And if by accident you touch it, you're going to be electrocuted. Okay. It's not like DC, right? That the common is not hot unless the circuit is closed. Here, because it's alternate current, right now, this is hot.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So as long as you remember that, start always with the neutral and then go to the hot. And that is the safest way to check it. So why you might want to check your receptacles, Elpida? There are many reasons. You plug a device there and it doesn't work, right?
Right.
Is it the device's fault or you don't have power there? And you can simply do it by plugging another device, but you might want to be certain. You want to know for sure if that is the problem with your device or the problem with your plug, right? Mm-hmm. And it can mean a lot of problems. Also, when you go from the hot, from the red, if you put the black one to the semicircle to the ground, you should also get 120. That is testing your ground, right? Mm-hmm. If you don't get 120, then your ground doesn't work. And that is probably the easiest way to check that.
Okay.
Now, if you put it on the short and the ground and you have voltage, don't touch anything. you have an open circuit somewhere in your system and everything is live, right? That can be a very, very dangerous situation. Because then both your neutral and your ground are live.
Okay.
And that's a bad thing, right? Does it make sense? So this can be a very, very useful thing. Also for little things like, I don't have a battery, but you want to test if a battery is good.
Yeah, we've used it quite a bit for automotive applications when we're testing the fuses and testing batteries. This
exact model is what helped us find one of our most popular videos, and that was, remember the bizarre problem with the fuse?
The fuse on the CRV.
Right.
Yeah, so that's why I wanted to bring it forward and call attention to it.
It took us a long of frustration, but this is a great tool for automotive troubleshooting. And again, very easy. There are even some $5 ones that Walmart has that they have the needle, you know, they're not electronic. Also, this is not an auto-sensing one. This other one, as you can see, is more expensive. And this is an auto-sensing one. What does auto-sensing means? It means that you need to change, you control the change. You see where here it says 600 volts? So that goes from 0 to 600. This goes from 0 to 200. This goes from 0 to 20. So that high number is a high level, right?
Okay.
So if you want to test something that it is 15 volts, you want to have it there.
Okay.
The problem only happens if you go to a higher point. So if you put this one, because that's the alternate, right? If you put that on a smaller, or and you see it doesn't go, it drops to 200. If it goes to something solar, you can burn it, right? So if you go to 20 and you want to test a 25 volt source, you might burn the circuit of this.
Right, because you're going over what that setting is. Okay.
Now, the ones that they are a little more than basic are auto-sensing, so they will switch immediately, no harm will happen, right?
Okay.
Being correct as far as polarity, in the AC, it makes no difference. As long as you go first on the neutral and then on the hot, regardless if it is red or black, AC does not have polarity, right?
Okay.
You cannot make mistake. DC has polarity, but there will be no harm to the machine or you. It simply will put a negative. If you put them in reverse, in front of the number will say minus 1.5, right?
Okay.
So you can test batteries, you can test all kinds of circuits. Can you think of anything else?
Not right now.
But those two tools can save you a lot of money. Again, you can spend a lot of money. You can find multimeters for $400, $500, even $1,000. No need. You can find them for $10, $12, even sometimes $5, right? I think actually Harbor Freight sometimes gives them for free, you know, with those coupons. Free with any purchase.
Yeah.
So, a great tool to have in your arsenal.
Okay.
Well, friends, I hope you enjoyed this short episode. And if you did, we would appreciate a thumbs up. If you didn't, smash the other button twice. Share, like, subscribe, and let us know what else you might want to watch in future episodes of the Urban Homesteading channel, and specifically in our Wednesday Quickies. From Dr. Wizard, Elpida, and the Urban Homesteading channel, stay safe, put your masks on, get vaccinated, and wash your hands. So we're going to see you again in our next episode. Farewell, friends.